Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of Thinking into Results. This is one of my favorite lessons. It's on the stick person. Bob calls the magic genie. I love all of his teaching about the magic genie. When you've got a few minutes, go onto YouTube and look at some more of his videos. Each one's a little bit different. They have a little bit different amounts of information. They're all fantastic, and you can't learn enough about it. So let's get into the facilitation and talk about this really awesome lesson. So give me just a second here. Okay. So here we go. Let's talk first of all, let's go through the call agenda. We've got our wins for the week. Then we're going to introduce lesson 4, the secret genie. We will review lesson 3 worksheets. We'll cover the key points of lesson. We'll do the worksheet introduction for lesson 4, and we're going to wrap it up. So wins for the week. Anybody have anything great that they did? Any big wins, any little wins, any observations you'd like to talk about that really impacted you? Okay, guys, that's awesome. Congratulations. Everybody had some really great points to share. And I really appreciate you being open and sharing with the group about that. You know, your inspirations inspire everybody else. So as we go on through Thinking into Results, please be sure that you're sharing. Like to open every lesson facilitation with a great quote. If you've never heard Earl Nightingale, YouTube him. He is a phenomenal teacher. So this quote is from Earl, is your world is a living expression of how you're using and used your mind. Isn't that awesome? Think about that for a second. Really think about what that means. Our world is an outside reflection of what's going on in our minds, of what we have created. So the secret genie, what we're going to learn. How to gain control over the thoughts you think. How the law of attraction works to help you achieve any goal you want. A repeatable formula that can be used to change any result you're unhappy with. So going back to lesson 3, lesson 3 is one of those that had some good things in the worksheet that if you took the time to do it, expanded your mind and created awareness of your habits, good and bad. And I really hope that you're taking the time to go through those worksheets and not just fill in the blank, but really think about it and reflect on your answers and what the question is asking you. You will get so much more out of this investment of yours if you do that. It really opens up your mind. So in this lesson, you rewrote in great detail all of the non-productive actions you identified in the first exercise, lesson 2. You rewrote all the non-productive actions you identified in the second exercise of lesson 2. Then you wrote a detailed description of the results that you want rather than the NPAs. Then you rewrote in as much detail as possible all the positive actions you identified to replace your NPAs. Then you burned or shredded the 2 sheets of paper with the unwanted results and the NPAs. And I hope you guys did that. Bob gives you exercises And if you follow them, they are very impactful. They're not just a dumb waste of time. I had an exercise in my life in December where I did something like this and I burned 6 pages of paper. And here's what I learned from doing that. As the paper is burning, you know, and it's curling and it's turning black and it's glowing around the edges, the little embers from it are floating upward and the smoke is going upward. And I was sitting there watching this and I was looking up, following them with my eyes as they were going up. And I realized that it's a releasing sensation. So the issues are still there, but mentally, consciously, you've released them to the universal mind. And that's how you get rid of that stuff. It was such an impactful thing for me to watch that. And I hope you guys are doing that and following and doing all of the lessons, no matter how crazy they seem, but just do them on faith that Bob knows what he's talking about. Now, this lesson, we're talking about the secret genie. And, you know, our minds think in pictures. And the issue is there's no picture of the mind. So it creates confusion. Where there's confusion and disorder, we have no success. We have chaos, and chaos order is the first law of heaven, of creation. So when we've got chaos, that goes against that first order of creation. So the secret genie is a pictorial of our minds so that we can create order. And you've got the big circle divided in half. Top half is the conscious mind, bottom half is subconscious mind, and then the little circle below is the body. Subconscious mind controls the body, and your paradigms control the subconscious mind. When the paradigms are your habits, your thoughts, your behaviors, that controls your results. So the key points of this lesson is you objectively view another person's behavior, you'll understand what's going on in their mind. Remember, everything in their outside world, all the circumstances are a manifestation of what their thoughts are. Vibration is a natural law of the universe. Everything vibrates, nothing rests. We literally live in an ocean of motion. Our bodies are a molecular structure in a very high rate of speed. And the skin vibrates differently than the blood does, and the fingernails vibrate differently than the skin does, and the hair vibrates. Everything's got its own vibration, its own frequency. So here's a stick person. You've got your mind, it's divided in half. Your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, your body, your 5 senses, taste, hear, sight, smell, and touch, all work through the conscious mind. That's all this input from around you coming into your mind. And your subconscious mind is your emotional mind, where your paradigm is. Remember, your paradigm controls almost everything. It's your habits, all of your thoughts piled up together from your lifetime, your beliefs, and that's what controls your body. Your body then takes direction from the subconscious mind and manifests it into results. If the results are good, then it's because you've got the right paradigms in your subconscious mind. If you don't like the results, then you rebuild the paradigm. And next week is really great lesson. It's on the 6 mental faculties, which is the other way to think, out of the mental faculties rather than out of the outside stimulus that's coming in through our 5 senses. It's a really phenomenal lesson. This lesson sets you up for that lesson. And then you combine them, and it's just incredible. So introduction to our worksheet for this week. Begin by examining how you spend your days. You have good habits, you have bad habits. Are your behaviors indicative of your worthy ideal and the person you want to become, that you will become when you achieve that objective? If a disappointing situation occurs, how do you deal with it? Do you react to it, or do you respond to it? Do you let outside stimuli control your thinking, or do you let your mind control it from your 6 faculties so that you are in control rather than outside circumstances being in control? Do you have difficulty staying focused on a project? Do you have an organized continuing education program? Are you reading anything that'll help you develop your mind? Are you studying anything else? We've got phenomenal books that Bob talks about that you can use to build on all of this. Neville Goddard, Power of Awareness, is an absolutely incredible book to read that talks about all of this, ties in really well. This program is based on Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. What are your greatest strengths? What are your greatest weaknesses? Do you intend to eliminate your weaknesses? Which ones you want to get rid of? This is where taking time in the worksheet is really important, to analyze yourself, to open up your mind objectively, to see the things that you need to change to become the person you want to become. 6 habits that you will change. List those habits. What is a belief you have difficulty with that you would like to strengthen? Think of a very close associate or friend. What behavioral patterns do they have that can be considered annoying? Funny story growing up that ties into this question. My dad and my brother were always in conflict with one another. Everything my dad criticized about my brother criticized about my dad, and they were the same behavior. Same thing with my dad and my grandma, Mom's mother, his mother-in-law. Everything that one criticized about the other one, they both had. So this next question is, if that person were doing this exercise about you, what do you think they would say? Would they say the same thing about you? So I learned out of that with my dad and my brother and grandma. Before I criticize somebody, check myself to see if I'm exhibiting the same behavior. What daily actions do you have that are habitual, that are driving you toward your goal? That's so important that you have those habits. One of the things I've learned to do is to plan my day out in advance. I have a list of things I like to read, I like to do, meditating, praying, reading. I've got several different articles, writing my goals. I list every single one of those out. And the reason I do is because it's so fun to check all those things off. And as I check them off, I get this energized feeling that just makes me want to dive in and check off more projects. And it really helps set me up to stay focused on the rest of the day, just by checking off little items first thing in the morning, rather than just batch them all together under one heading and check off one thing. Something that works for me. Figure out what works for you. So that is the end of our facilitation call. Take the time to go through this stuff. Don't just fill in the little box with words. Think about it and open up your mind. and expose yourself to you. Have an awesome week. Can't wait to hear your wins next week on the facilitation call. And we'll talk then every week.